Tonight on Connecticut's news station, more police departments across our state are installing license plate scanners and expanding their use of red light cameras. But with high-tech tools come privacy concerns. We'll hear from both sides of that debate tonight.
The mother of Jennifer Dulos testifies in the Michelle Troconis trial while the prosecution rests its case. We'll have a full report about what happened inside the courtroom today.
A catastrophic church collapse costing the city of New London hundreds of thousands of dollars. But officials say much of that money could be recouped, and we'll tell you what's happening to the property.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight at the state capitol, where lawmakers are hoping to increase the number of license plate readers here in Connecticut. Thanks for joining us on the news at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. More and more police departments rely on the technology for investigations, but some groups are concerned, worried over what implications this could have on privacy. Fox 61's Jake Garcia is live at the state capitol in Hartford now with more on how these cameras work and why lawmakers want more of them. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, state lawmakers are considering offering grant money to cities and towns across the state for more license plate readers in the state of Connecticut that they say help police with their investigations. License plate readers are not new in Connecticut. Police departments in more than a dozen cities and towns already have them installed. Even some state police vehicles are equipped with them. The technology can be expensive, and state leaders want to help ease the burden for cities and towns who want these readers.
It's an expensive technology, and some municipalities may benefit from it, but they may not be able to have the funding for it. So we're discussing perhaps grant programs through DESP, through the legislature, through the state, to fund municipalities who may benefit from this technology that don't currently have it.
State Representative Greg Howard says it's important to know how the readers work.
These license plate readers are fed what they call a hot list. So if you have an Amber Alert and there's a vehicle, that vehicle will be put into the hot list. And if that particular vehicle drives past an LPR, be it mounted on a police vehicle or be it stationary somewhere, we'll alert police officers in the area that car is in that area so they can potentially stop that car and recover that child.
Investigators can use this as a tool to track stolen vehicles and more. In fact, back in November, that's how Southington police were able to know a stolen vehicle entered town. That sent them an alert and led to the arrest of 2 men on larceny, narcotics, and weapons charges. We reached out to groups who might be opposed to these readers, like the ACLU, but they weren't available for comment. Howard says he's aware some groups may express concerns around privacy.
I will certainly stand against any measures to restrict the use of these as long as it's within the parameters of the privacy concerns that we've always had. And I don't think that these license plate readers, as they're being used today and the technology as it exists, breaches that expectation of privacy that the average person has driving down the street.
It's important to note that no bill or proposal has been drafted yet, but State Representative Greg Howard says that there is interest from both sides of the aisle. Reporting live from the state capitol, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Jake. Right now, Hartford police need your help locating a missing man. Take a look at a photo of 76-year-old Julian Diaz. Police say he suffers from dementia. He was last seen leaving St. Francis Hospital this afternoon. Police say he was wearing a navy jacket, black pants, and white sneakers when he left the hospital. If you think you've seen this man or might know where he is, call Hartford police right away. We have more information right now on our website, fox61.com, and on the Fox 61 News app. All right, time now for a first check on the forecast. And it'll stay dry through tomorrow, but then we're going to see maybe some showers overnight. Yeah.
Today was certainly sunny. When will that all change? Here's Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. Hi, Rachel.
Hi. Yeah, we'll see clouds increase as we head through the day tomorrow. And yes, tomorrow night we'll see some showers moving in. And temperatures will be just cold enough that we could also see a brief wintry mix for some inland with a few sleet pellets or snowflakes. We don't anticipate this to cause big issues on the roads, but there could certainly be a few slippery spots so we'll be watching that. And then we'll see off and on rain showers continue into the day on Friday. 28 right now in Hartford, mid-30s for the New Haven area. It is not expected to be as cold tonight as it has been the last few nights when we've seen temperatures falling back into the teens. But still, you need a jacket on your way out the door tomorrow. Here's a look at that disturbance heading our way, so bringing more clouds along with it, and eventually we'll see those showers too. Overnight lows will be in the 20s as we head towards daybreak, and we'll see a mix of clouds and sun as we head through your Thursday, with clouds tending to take over as we head towards and especially after sunset. And that's when we'll start to see those rain and snow showers begin to develop. As we head towards daybreak on Friday, though, temperatures will actually be rising, which is why we're just anticipating rain for Friday. We'll take a closer look at the future radar. Plus, we have some big time warmth in the forecast for next week. We've got the numbers coming up.
Rachel, thank you. 3 days after a man was shot during an attempted robbery in New Haven, police say they have a suspect in custody. It happened just after midnight last Sunday in an apartment on Reed Street. Police say they found the 39-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Today, they arrested 35-year-old Sebastian Award of New Haven for the shooting. He faces a litany of charges, including first-degree assault and attempted robbery.
Fire crews rescued a person by ladder while responding to a house fire in New Britain. It broke out around 2 this afternoon on Dover Road. Fire crews say a person was found trapped on the second floor. They were taken to the hospital, but their condition hasn't been released. Crews knocked down the fire in under 20 minutes. The cause is still under investigation. We have an update out of Avon tonight, where police have identified the woman killed in an early morning crash on Route 10 yesterday. They tell us 48-year-old Jill Ayers of Barkhamsted was driving a Chevy Tahoe when she collided with 2 other cars. Ayers was pronounced dead on the scene. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. The Stamford police officer accused of hitting and killing a beloved pastor while responding to a crash last July has made his first court appearance. 25-year-old Zachary Lockwood was arraigned today. State police say he was driving over the speed limit without emergency sirens on. He struck and killed Reverend Tommy Jackson. They've been investigating the crash since July. The charges were only brought this month. Lockwood's out on bond and will appear in court next month. Following 25 days of testimony, the state has wrapped up its case in the Michelle Troconis trial. But not before calling one last witness to the stand, Jennifer Farber Doulos' mother. An emotional day in court. Fox 61's Julie LeBlanc has the latest from Stamford.
Gloria, how are you related to Jennifer Farber?
She was my daughter.
Gloria Farber taking the stand as the state's last witness in the Michelle Troconis trial, speaking about her daughter and her grandchildren with a sense of pride.
How many children did Jennifer have?
5.
Those children sitting in the courtroom during Gloria's testimony. She's now their legal guardian. As for their mom,
have you seen your daughter Jennifer since she failed to meet you at your apartment in New York City on May 24th, 2019?
No.
A fact the defense doesn't dispute. They did, though, file for an acquittal, arguing in court Wednesday the state didn't present enough evidence to prove each charge against Troconis.
It's speculation upon speculation upon speculation.
The state feels the opposite, saying a reasonable jury can make its own assumptions based on the evidence.
She talked about applying for a restraining order against Ms. Doulos. She discussed the fact that her relationship with Mr. Doulos was suffering as a result.
The judge ultimately agreeing.
The motion for judgment of acquittal is denied.
In the afternoon, the defense calling its first witness, Robert Haynes, the owner of a water skiing club Fotis Doulos and Troconis visited often. Haynes describing the police presence there the week Jennifer went missing.
The state police come in with dogs and they search the place with dogs, and then they put a boat in the water and they go over the whole pond with a boat looking for a body. It was awful.
As for how Troconis was behaving that Memorial Day weekend,
she was upset and she was definitely teary-eyed.
Haynes also references a dinner party which took place at Fotis' Farmington home the night before. Prosecutors allege Fotis killed Jennifer in her New Canaan home.
Was anything unusual about that dinner?
No.
The defense introduced another man at that same dinner party, Stephen Reich, who says Fotis seemed happy about the custody case with his children that night.
He was of the belief that things were getting better as far as
the potential custody of his children.
The state questioning that demeanor.
What sticks out to me is the dichotomy of the positivity of that evening and what subsequently occurred.
Now, the defense plans on calling more witnesses to the stand tomorrow, including a memory expert. At this point, they believe they'll wrap up their case on Monday. We're in Stamford. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
A jury selection is underway in the case of a Connecticut state trooper accused of shooting and killing a 19-year-old man. Trooper Brian North was silent today as he entered the courthouse in Milford. He pleaded not guilty to first-degree manslaughter for what happened on a January night back in 2020. Police say Mubarak Suleiman stole a car and led officers on a high-speed chase on I-95. Suleiman crashed that car in West Haven, and during an encounter that followed, North fired 7 shots into the driver's window at close range.
Once the trial actually starts, the evidence, then we will be speaking again.
We're just glad that the trial is near and approaching, and want justice.
North told investigators he fired because Suleiman had a knife, but the state inspector general concluded the shooting was not justified. Tonight, North is on paid administrative leave.
It's been nearly a month since the catastrophic collapse of the First Congregational Church in New London, and we're now learning just how much that disaster cost taxpayers to clean up. Officials tell Fox 61 the cost for the city's response to the church collapse totals just short of $245,000. That includes how much was spent to remove debris and knock down the rest of the church. The city has placed a lien on the property. They're trying to recuperate as much of that bill as possible. Engineers are still investigating what caused the collapse.
We have much more coming up here on the news at 10. A murder suspect caught in an exchange of political crossfire between a progressive prosecutor in New York City and his Republican counterpart in Arizona. See why she's refusing a run-of-the-mill request from Manhattan's controversial DA.
And a frightening incident on a Florida beach. A first grader and her older brother playing in the sand became trapped when it caved in on them. Their father desperately tried digging them out. We'll have more on what happened next.
Later, the Boeing executive in charge of the troubled 737 MAX 9 aircraft program is making an emergency exit. He's been canned as part of a shakeup after that scary flight where a part of a plane opened up mid-flight.
And the next storm on the way will bring mostly rain, but it could start off initially as a brief mix, especially away from the Connecticut shoreline. We'll talk about it, your full forecast coming up.